Welcome back from the break. So next up we have a talk from Andre Martin Jimenez from Edgeverve.
Yep,
Correct?
that's correct.
About UX landscape around financial services.
Yep.
Yeah, great.
Thank you very much. Okay, so as she said, I'm going to talk about a bit of banking and what we do at the Research and Development Lab. And what we do there, it's a financial-oriented software company. Edgeverve, but it's part from Infosys, which is a larger consulting company. And we do a bit of everything, looking at latest technologies, building PLCs in an agile environment. Of course, we use design thinking. I'm not going to tell you about the process because I think you've seen it in every other presentation here. And what we're going to go is through all our work areas, explain the current landscape, the considerations we take when building and designing experiences, and the conclusions or plans for the future that we have. I'm going to start by introducing myself, and then I'm going to go one by one through all these areas there. So, me, my name is Andres Martin. I call myself a UX developer, basically because I started within roles of development, and then I moved more and more deeper into design. Same with my education. I took a bachelor's in computer science, and then I did a master's in fine arts. And in my spare time, I run a sole trade venture, creating games. Have games released for Android, iOS, and some board games where I'm trying to apply augmented reality and stuff like that. So, this is our company, Infosys. It's located in City West Business Campus, Trek from the Luas. And one of the main areas we start with, and one of the reasons for the lab to be conceived in Ireland, is the digital banking atmosphere in the European Union. And this landscape is prevailed by PSD2. PSD2, well, what is PSD2 and why is it there and how are they going to implement it? It's a directive by the European Union which follows PSD1 from 2009, and it's a way to regulate payments, electronic payments, and that's going to apply to the 27 members of the European Union, and it's meant to be effective in 2018. Why are they going to do this? They're going to try to improve payments, making them fast, more secure, and more transparent, give access to new entrants like payment services, loyalty schemes, and plenty of others, as long as they can use the information, and regulate the market in a legislation kind of way. And how are they going to do this? They're going to force banks to release APIs. So all third parties that are registered, I guess, with the European Union are going to have access to certain information from bank accounts. And this, this quote from Bill Gates from the 90s may not be true completely because they're not going to disappear anytime soon, the banks, but they are changing their business models. So you see how they're not anymore someone keeping your money. They're actually doing a lot of financial services. They're helping people learn how to save money, and they're a hub of information. What considerations are we having? Well, we're very focused on developer experience. One of the reasons because we're a business-to-business kind of company. We deal with banks, and developer experience will involve everything from the moment that someone is interested in your technology till the moment that someone's trying to actually debug something and try to get feedback from users. And APX, I don't know who put that name there, but basically it's API is the experience for APIs, and that's the subset that also we're considering very important. Oops, went too fast. Some of the considerations we're taking is that how accessible is the API, how easy it is to provide them with an SDK, the specification, documentation of those APIs, the readability. That's also going to depend on the programming languages they're using. So it's basically how easy it is to get into using that information. And the usage, and finally, how are they going to fix the errors that they make when they program. The account aggregation idea is that they're going to embed everything into these systems. It might be the banks themselves, it might be third parties. You can see a lot of account aggregation coming from companies around the world, like there's Mint, there's Tink in Sweden, I think it is. There's loyalty schemes, social networks, travel agencies, shopping, and all of this is enabled by big data. And what conclusion have we arrived? We're thinking of an omni-feed, I call it, but well, basically, it's just joining all that information together. It doesn't have to be in a visual or application kind of way, but you know how Google now brings all your information into one feed. It could be through that, or if you actually try to put it into an actual visualization, you can go for material design. That's the one we're using. We try to itemize the events and try to make them expandable so you can act on them on arrival. So this is an example of one of the mockups that we're dealing with. This is a personal banking app, and that's a feed where you can get information from social networks, from shipment of goods, for anything, and you can act on it directly on the board. And now I'm going very quick. I'm sorry, I'm really fast, but it's so much content. Payments and personal finance management. The current landscape is that everything is changing at the moment. The way people make payments is call it paying with whatever, because people use biometrics. You can get like recognition of your iris. You can get recognition of your voice, of your face. People actually pay by leaving a place, like Amazon Go. I don't know if you see the stores, but that's very impressive. You just grab the items and you leave, and that's the way of paying. Same happens with Uber or any of these taxi services. When you leave the taxi, that means you're paying. And other people actually opted for implanting chips under the skin so they can do the contactless. PSD2 also is going to enable direct payments, so no longer the banks rely on third providers like credit cards. They can actually pay directly in a shop with a bank account, and that's going to be good for the banks and also for the customers because there's less fees involved, and the banks are going to obtain much more information from the users, so they're going to be able to provide you with more ad hoc services. Also, they're going to try to make money of it. Considerations. Let's see, how often do people check their balance in their bank accounts? Can I get a quick round here? How many people here check their balance daily? At least once a day. Can I get a hand? Yeah, a few people, not that many. Once a week? Okay, that's nearly everyone. Once a month? Okay, that's a big split here. The average that we found is around 7 to 10 times per month, so a couple times a week. Another study from The Guardian was saying that some students are actually afraid of checking it, and therefore they go unnecessarily into debt. So that's something that you could avoid if you have the proper system of notifications. And still, 1/5 of the people check it daily. I think it counted last year on that one anyway. And 50% of the activity is still checking the balance in an AAV, so it's still one of the main use cases when you check portals. So, conclusion, more like plans. One of the things that we said is like, well, there's different types of users. Some very active, that they check the balance all the time, and they want more information, not only the balance. They're going to have a detailed dashboard where they can like customize it. And for the other kind of users that they don't want to check the balance because either they're afraid of it or they actually have no interest, but they must still want to be notified when there's something like a low balance happens. And in addition, there's going to be the automation of certain things, like also in the case of personal finance management, you want to categorize all your shopping habits so you know how much you're spending on each of the categories. So this is an example of the kind of customizable grid that we have at the moment in our, it's one of the developments that we've done. This is an example of the automated task and how you can like create some chains of events that the users could customize. And below you can see a little bit of the shopping habits. Very quickly into intelligence. When I mean intelligence, any communication with machines, voice, AIs, and stuff like that. What's the landscape? down the slide. You can see there's a lot of voice assistants out there. There's a lot of AI suites that you can choose from. This is ours, but I think there's plenty out there. And the considerations that we've taken is when you're talking about chatbot, obviously we built a chatbot like everyone else. You think about the context. These are things that you can probably find in Smashing Magazine. But basically, you want to know what's the last thing said, where's the person located, what can you do? A lot of the things a lot of the systems that you find, you don't know what you can do with them. The status. So if you think of the heuristics of design from Jacob Nielsen, one of them is to show the status of the machine every time. So you have to remember if you're going to process a reply from someone. And it's going to take a while, show the ellipses or tell him like personal, like, oh, let me think about this. And that's a very important thing. And personality, and in the sense of personality, it's not only that in the case of financial management, you're leaving your money in someone's hands, so you want someone professional to be talking to you. It's also the fact that your chatbot might be part of a bigger one. In the case of plugins for Alexa or any of the other assistants, you're just feeding text into an already existing personality, so you have to follow the same features. So, conclusions. We start with a context-free chatbot. This is something that we, like a Twitter bot, was less personal. And then we went more into the banking portal where you can see a kind of person, an assistant that will help you like a real customer. And finally, we went one step forward, and we're thinking that when you're training a model that is basically doing things for you, you're creating a digital version of yourself. So, we call it digital me, and basically it's something that you can customize and train a model. So, this is the guy who welcomes you into the portal. He suggests you ideas for example, for birthdays when he finds that data in the social networks. And you can customize it to make it look like yourself if you want to, as you can see at like South Park. So, all the realities, AR, VR, and I'm going to go very quickly. A lot of the applications that we've seen are things like, this is something you can do with Google Maps. There's the option of mixed reality, although for me, they all kind of are augmented reality, except VR, which is completely immersed in the world. And they're great for entertainment. In my venture that I mentioned, this is a board game that I was working on. You're moving pieces of mice around the board, and you're trying to find a cat, but the cat you can only see when you use the phone, and the phone gets passed from player to player. So it's great, but I'm actually hiding information, and that's not something that I will do in banking. So, conclusions is that I think we still need some time to actually work on this. Just checking the time because I'm nearly there. Cryptocurrency and distributed systems, last section, and I'll be quick. Blockchain, all the banks are excited about blockchain. It's the technology behind Bitcoin, if you're familiar with. So, electronic currency. And they all want to do stuff with this. So, you have to consider that this is a decentralized system. There's not a central authority managing everything. So sometimes banks are trying to design cycle the wrong way. They start with a solution instead of actually checking the user needs. And we did a bit of research with both blockchain and other frameworks. Typical design thinking sessions with beanbags, and I told you we have like an IT company, so beanbags, pool tables, stuff like that, post-its. And the conclusion that we arrived with this is that for a bond trader exercise, we built one that was decentralized. So basically, this is a holistic approach for people to send money, to loan money and to borrow. And for education, there was a pretty good scenario where students could create a metaphor of a digital backpack where they could store their certificates, so in a secure manner, and also the information still belongs to them without having to release it unless they want to. And we also work in our own framework, one that can be centralized if we wanted, and again, like the idea of the backpack, that they actually don't have to make that information public like it happens in blockchain and the chain of Bitcoin and things like that. So very quickly, banks are trying a lot of things to keep people engaged, and we're trying to help them. And I think they're looking at different fields, and that's great. And Well, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much.